Hi, this is Sally, and today is day 26 of my weight loss journey. So, just a rundown about what happened today. Okay, so regarding food, I intended, yeah, but it didn't happen. So, my dad actually bought fried carrot cake, and then I had the, choice of whether to eat it or not. So I think it was my fault that I didn't tell my parents that I am actually, trying to lose weight and watching my diet. So it's not often that my dad would actually buy food back, breakfast for me. So, and it's also, I felt not very polite to reject because I didn't tell him and he already bought it. And technically, I had the choice. I didn't really want to, because he knew that fried carrot cake is one of my favorite food. But the problem is because I was doing a weight loss, and in my food schedule, I'm supposed to have one plate of fried carrot cake a month. So if I took this, that would be it, and I initially planned to have my fried carrot cake tomorrow. Now, fried carrot cake can be of different grades, and all that. So the one that he bought was from a nearby store, and the one that I was eyeing was from this other store that I much prefer. But also in just thinking about all this, right? I was thinking, fried carrot cake, normally I have the $4 portion, but it is unhealthy, and so I rationalized. I'm saying but I'm only having it once a month. I used to have it once a week or once in 2 weeks, but now it's just quadrupled down, so once in 4 weeks or once in 5 weeks. So I was thinking, would it be okay to have it the $4 my usual, but yet at the same time I know that it's not very healthy, and I was thinking, it's just for the taste, and I just maybe have $3, and the thing is this: when I crave for something, I want to enjoy it, and then I'll spend on it. I'll spend the money, and then I'll feel. But after food, if you have quite a bit of the same thing, even in one sitting, you get tired of it. You're after you're satisfied, you're oh, it wasn't that great anyway. So it's just the anticipation of it that kind of hypes me up to want to get a bigger portion. And I noticed that's the pattern. And usually at that point of time, when I'm just thinking about it, it's quite hard to say if I just react on emotion, I'll be never mind, it's okay, I'll just eat lesser if I really didn't want to, so I'll just buy that portion. But I think with the weight loss, I am trying to be more rational about things and trying to preempt. So for example, I think about 2 days ago, I was in the office, and then I didn't have a snack, so I was hungry, and I had my plate of economical rice. Anyway, which wasn't really in my plan. But then because I fell into this trap before, so this time around, even though I forgot to have my tea and therefore lowered my willpower because I was hungry, I was able to tell the store owner, hey, a bit half a bowl of rice instead of the full bowl. So even though I ate the food, I'm trying to cut down on white rice, but I have already cut down on white rice, right? So it was fine. So anyway, back to breakfast. So I decided, since my dad already bought it and relationships are more important, I decided to eat it, which means that I may or may not eat the one that I'm eyeing for tomorrow. I might need to wait for another week or so when it's March to have it. Yeah, and then I'll probably do that. So after that, I was supposed to have my lunch in my office, and it was laksa, right? And I think I had the same thing last week. So I think Fridays they're gonna have laksa, and laksa is actually curry noodles. So that I think there's a bit of coconut milk maybe, and also white noodles in it. Yeah, it's not very healthy. So I just made sure the first bowl I didn't take the full bowl, and the bowl that I'm talking about, our office, we actually use a small bowl, which is usually half the size of a normal bowl that you would find in the hawker center. So so I did that, and then I was quite normally when office serves soup, I usually have three bowls of soup filled with carrots and cabbages and all. So this time round, when I took the first bowl with laksa and white noodles, I fit it like 3/4 of a small bowl, and then I would usually go back for second helping. So I went back for my second helping with half a bowl. I just tried to avoid the white noodles, although I still picked it up inadvertently. So I think knowing my office schedule now, that Fridays are going to be this, I'll just arrive office later. I'll see how it goes, or maybe I'll just step out of the office. I'll see how it goes and just have salad instead. But then, there's the issue of budgeting as well. So I may bring fruits. Yeah. So I think this weight loss is also about scheduling and where you are and what you can bring along. And I think it's important to plan, because intention is important. Being aware of what I'm going to do rather than go with the flow of what I'm going to eat is important. So knowing also like my office food schedule is important, so that I can preempt. And I think weight loss, part of it is also about disciplining. I can just take it like, oh, I need to force myself to lose weight, but I can also approach it another way, which is to train myself in terms of disciplining, and not to follow the emotions like, oh, I feel hungry, or I feel this and that, but just to be very logical about it. And I think it helps me to be very logical when I am intentional and I've planned for certain things, right? So anyway, I worked slightly later. I left the office about 7, but before that I had my fruits this time round, and so I wasn't very hungry. I came back, I had some snacks. I was supposed to have my yogurt, but I didn't have that. I want to shower first and then I have that. But anyway, the lesson learned is that intention is important, and instead of trying to force myself to do things, to look at it as an exercise to develop, because discipline, people feel discouraged when they feel, oh, I don't have willpower, or I don't have this, or I can't do this, I can't force myself. But it's okay, if you like fall, or if you eat white rice, and kind of pick yourself up and see what went wrong. Like for me, I need to be kind, but not like so kind, or rationalize the fact that I'm going to eat, which I know that I tend to do. So I think to be very mindful and to kind of forgive myself when I fall into it, and think about how I can avoid that situation or that hunger pang, or how can I manage myself better. And it's a process of learning. Some people have great willpower right at the start. I was never that sort of person, but I think being mindful of how I am reacting, and being mindful about what's happening in my environment as well does help in helping me keep track about what I eat and what I intend to do. So I think accountability is important. Sometimes people find it hard to be accountable to yourself. Actually, we ought to be accountable to ourselves. And it's also something that I'm learning to do. Making these videos actually help me to be accountable. Like, it makes me stop and pause and think what goes right, what has gone right, how I can improve, how do I manage myself, where do I fall short, what do I need to do. So even things like, where do I always fall short, like sleep, or if I'm hungry I need to bring snacks, or to be alert about what they're serving in the office, and how I tend to go with my emotions, and if I'm aware of that, I try to preempt that. So anyway, I find that this is a nice learning journey for me. The idea is not just to lose weight, but to have a sustainable and healthy diet that accompanies it. It is this losing weight part, of course, part of it's vanity, right? Because I want to lose weight and look good by the time my brother's married in like May. So that was the impetus of it. But I think moving forward, it doesn't make sense if I just lose weight and put it on again, and lose weight and put it on again. But yet at the same time, I still want to enjoy food, but it's not It's not health. It's not just about enjoying food. Like, I can enjoy food, but I need to be aware of the cost on my health as well. So I need to balance that. So it's like I having my carrot cake. Yes, you know, I used to have it $4, but just have it $3, right? You know, if I can't help it and I'm so hungry and you have rice, instead of having a full bowl of rice, just tell them it's half bowl first, right? Regardless of how I feel. So it kind of like it kind of reminds me that there's a very logical way to approach it, approach weight loss, right? And it doesn't have to be something that is so frustrating, perhaps, and to take to always remind myself to baby steps are okay, you know, just take it one step at a time, maybe one step back, but it's okay, you know, just think what I can do to improve. So anyway, this is a longer video than I expected. I hope you like this video, and I love to hear your comments, and I'll see you in the next